Thank you all very much for being here tonight. This is exactly what our founding fathers envisioned when they founded the United States of America. It's an experiment in freedom that goes on today because of people like you participating year after year in making the process better. I first came to Alamogordo to fly T-33 when I was in ROTC over at New Mexico State. It preceded when I went to Vietnam and flew in 71, 72, and 73. I have very fond memories and a couple of photos from that T-33 here in the air, first time I'd ever been in a jet. I want to welcome my wife tonight. She's traveling with me. She's sacrificing being away from her business during this week of important discussions across the state, so help me welcome Cynthia. You know, people want to make this process of ensuring that our country is strong and important. They want to make it hard and complex. It's not hard and complex at all. If we want to fix the problems of the country, we simply need to empower individuals and empower families. It's only through families that we can build the building blocks of society and build the government that we need. Washington can't fix America. People can fix America. So anytime that I'm in Washington, I think of what we can do to empower individuals. That's my vision for creating a stronger and better country, letting people, letting parents have the charge of their kids so that they can raise them, not having the government tell them what to do. I will tell you that we as Republicans are a little bit down right now. The good news is when you're down, you're never quite as far down as what you think you are. But when you're up, you're never quite as far up as what you think we are. We lost the majority because we lost our way. We began to spend in ways as Republicans that we should not have. Our base began to say that's not what we wanted when we sent to you, when we sent you to Washington. We got what we deserved as Republicans in Congress, but the country did not get what it deserved. It deserved better than Nancy Pelosi. I will tell you that as a conservative in Congress, it has been a very lonely time during the past several months. I was the only member in the New Mexico delegation to support the surge of troops. I did not understand how we could do anything except go on offense. I did not understand just leaving the troops there at the same levels which they were. I was the only member of the New Mexico delegation to vote against the S-chip bill. That's Hillary Care Light. The beginnings of socialized medicine. Was the only Republican, was the only member of the New Mexico delegation to support the president when he vetoed that bill twice. Was the only member of the delegation to vote against the cloning legislation that went through this year. I've got a 100% pro-life rating after 5 years. Americans for Tax Reform put me at 100% rating after 5 years. Those are pledges I make. Those are pledges that I keep. I think you'll find that Steve Pearce will stand firm and stand strong on the conservative New Mexico values that represent us all. I'm here to ask for your support. I'm here to ask for your prayers. God bless you. Thank you. I've listened with respect and admiration because I do have a strong sense of admiration for Heather Wilson and the things that she's done. I think that anyone who serves in public office deserves the greatest gratitude and thanks. I thank you all tonight for putting on this forum. There are several questions that have come up during the evening. Heather talks about that Bragg vote, the one that was going to mothball Cannon, as if I was opposed to Cannon. That's just not true. Our office was one of the ones that jumped in and said, we'll find a mission for Cannon. Her office also made that same request. Let us find a mission. But then she voted against Bragg, and I voted for him. You've heard that. One of the reasons I voted for that is this community asked me to vote for it. Hollowan was not on the Bragg list. They had escaped. I talked to the community leaders frankly and honestly that if we vote for this Bragg Commission report, it'll include Cannon, and they said, we'll come over and we'll help. We think with Senator Domenici and Senator Bingaman and the three of you all and the governor that we can find a mission. And in fact, the Air Force had begun to hint that they're going to bring the Special Ops Forces back here and that they could not put them at Harrowwood. And so when we talk about these votes in simplistic fashion that I'm against Cannon, it's a disservice to the politics, it's a disservice to us as public leaders to try to simplify a vote and cast it like that. You all in this community wanted the Bragg Commission voted for because you had succeeded. And I listened to the local people because I think it's important. And then we went out and we got the job done. We found a mission for Cannon. I think that's a very important piece of it, because Holloman now has the F-22s coming here because of the things that were set in motion in that BRAC commission. Also, your redeployment forces out here. Holloman is the big winner because we are beginning to close down the number of bases. BRAC is closing the number of bases. And we're seeing that they have to we redeploy quickly. And Holloman is the center of that redeployment. And so again, Heather has pointed out adequately, and I appreciate her bringing this up, that she would vote not to close bases. She has said previously, I don't like the BRAC process. I think we must evolve our government to the changing needs of the world. And I'm willing to vote that. And I'm willing to take the criticism that said, I voted against Canada, but it is absolutely untrue. You know, I've listened to the words common sense conservative, and I do not understand the common sense version of voting for cloning. I do not understand the common sense version of voting for stem cell research in embryos when we can do the same thing with adult stem cells. And I do not understand how a person can say that they're pro-life and have a 42% rating. I really can't. I've got a 100% rating in the pro-life issues. I've got a 100% rating in the tax issues. I'm willing to vote how I tell you that I'm willing to vote. You can check. We have made a practice of standing strong and standing firm because I think you sent me to Washington to make a difference, to get inside the budgets, to find out what is going on, to make the changes that should be made so that we can meet the needs of this younger generation. And I will do that in the Senate. And it's my commitment to you because that's the way I live my life. We work hard. We ask the hard questions because I think that's what we should be doing. There are key differences in Heather and myself, and there are key similarities. Again, I appreciate the fact that she's willing to run. I appreciate the fact that my wife will let me run because this is hard on families, her family and my family. The service to the nation is extraordinarily difficult for both of us, for everyone. And yet you find good, qualified people who are willing to do it, and I think that's one of the great strengths of this country. We face three great struggles in this country. We face the war on terror, and we must win that at all costs. We must win the war on terror. Radical jihadists want to annihilate this country. But we're facing an economic struggle to hold on to our way of life, our industries, our jobs, and our careers, and we must fight that fight and win it. But finally, we're fighting a cultural battle inside this country for what is the definition of who we are? Who are we here inside? I was one of the co-founders of the Congressional Prayer Caucus, the first one ever. It was my office that put the language in that says the flying imams cannot sue John Does. We got that language in. The president signed it. We are willing to take the hard stances. We fought for Kit Laney until his sentence was dropped from 68 years to 4 months. We will fight hard fights on your behalf. I would appreciate your vote for United States Senate. God bless you. Keep our troops in your back.